Satchidananda Rupaya Vishvotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratascharateshvabhignaswarat Tene Brahmahradaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yatsuryaha Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Dharma Projita Ketavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam Vedyam Vastavamatra Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayon Mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamunikrite Kim Va Parerishwaraha Sadyo Hridyavarudyate Trakritibihi Shushrushubistatchana. Hari Om and greetings from Niagara Falls. Whatever we identify with, we are limited by that. If you identify with the student loan, you're limited by that. If you don't identify with the student loan, you don't have that limit. As seekers, when we hear this, when we read this, then logically we think, if I have no identifications, then I will have no limits. Sounds logical, correct? However, this is not practical. This is not practicable. Try. Right now, no identification. It's not practical. It's not practicable. And so we are guided to have more identifications, to identify with all. Family, community, society, humanity, divinity. By doing so, our limits become zero. Because I am all, I have no limits. Logically, this does not make sense. The more identification, the more limits. But this is practical. This is practicable. Think of your lives. Can you count how many people you think of? Can you count how many people you care for? You can't. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. This shows that you're letting go of logic and you're holding on to practice. We are all bhagya, which means fortunate, to have access to the Bhagavata Purana. Last week I explained what Bhagavata meant. The word Purana means Pura Eva Nava. Pura means ancient. Nava means fresh. So Purana is that which is ancient yet applicable.
it does not lose efficacy. Everyone's resonating with what I'm sharing so far. At least identify with what I'm saying. In the first two skandhas or sections, the focus is on adhikari and sadhana. That Bhagavata, this Purana, is for us. We are eligible. We are students. Then what should we do? Sadhana. Keep on evolving. Keep on becoming more disciplined. And you will know that this is happening. Sections 3, 4, and 5 focus on nurturing belief. If you feel that you are a disciple and you are engaged in discipline, you will believe more in yourself and what you do. But that's not enough. Looking around at all of you, I feel that you've passed belief. You don't need more investment in belief. 6, 7, 8, skandhas 6, 7, 8, nurture faith. Nurture faith. That is more authentic. It is more deep. It is more independent. To believe, there's still many variables that are needed. To have faith, less variables. I was asking another Vedanta teacher about who he listens to now that he's completed a Vedanta course. And he mentioned a certain teacher. And he said, I like this teacher a lot because this teacher references science. And while he was sharing that, I was thinking to myself, who do I listen to now that I've completed a Vedanta course? I listen to Puja Guruji, Swami Tejomayananda, who never references science. Because he doesn't need to. If I'm still approaching this scientifically, I'm still in the belief stage. But for those who have faith, they don't need any scientific evidence about this or this or this. They have faith. Particularly in Skanda 8. Now, I know all of you had a 10 out of 10 yesterday in our last class, in our pariksha, correct? What was the theme of the 8th section? A very lovely word. Starts with an S. Now everyone's guessing. Sadhana, sadhya, satsang, seva. It's got to be one of those. It is sadharma. Sat, S-A-T, combined with dharma. Those who follow dharma are good people. Those who follow sat dharma, they're not satisfied with good happiness as a good person. They want great happiness. And that requires being a great person. When one is established in faith, they have become a great person. Now, what are we doing? In sections 9 through 11, what is being nurtured by this Purana is trust. It is to trust that we are more than what we feel we are. In the 9th skandha, some of the greatest were introduced to us, like Raja Ambarisha. Do you all remember his katha? Where he didn't eat, he didn't drink for a year because what was he identified with? His original parent. The 9th skandha is about nasha. Nasha we interpret as destruction. I interpreted this as disidentification. When I disidentify with this body, how? By identifying with my original parent, that's how the vasanas do not have an effect on me. See the transition in trust from me to my original parent. In the 10th skandha, what we're in right now, Shri Krishna, through Rishi Shuka, is trying to encourage us to know that our potential is to be the greatest. In the 9th skanda, the greatest were introduced. Now in the 10th skanda, that's you. This is your potential. That's why I shared with all of you, though you're not at Chinmaya Dhara, you're not externally with Bhagavan Radha Krishna, but Bhagavan is always with you. You have to trust that. This is practically being facilitated by a Leela. Please share with me what Leela means. Share in the chat what Leela means. Oh, that's my daughter's name. That's my grandson's name. Divine play, playful play. Leenam la. The etymology of Leela is leenam la, that which dissolves limits so the limitless can express. That is the full meaning of Leela. Now, for those who have been with us through this entire section, are you identifying with Bhagavan Krishna more? And in doing so, aren't you letting go of your identification with your own body, mind, ego more? See how that Leela is working? Leela. My last thought before we continue. I had read that Vraja we tend to associate with a physical place in northern India. What Vraja actually is a place that is ever ready for Bhagavan. Vraja is that place that is ever ready for Bhagavan. So now asking all of you, can you point to me where Vraja is? Where is Vraja Bhumi? People are Googling, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh. You! We've been together for 6 semesters. Be Vraja. Let Vraja Bhumi be your personality. We completed our 6th semester with Bhagavati Rukmini and Bhagavan Krishna getting married. I told all of you that one of Bhagavan's names is Vivaha. And we have commenced our 7th semester with their child. I'm going to read that verse again, and then we'll begin with new content. Sa eva jato vaidharbhyam Krishna virya samudbhavaha pradyumna iti vikhyataha sarvato navamah pituhu. Born to Bhagavati Rukmini and Bhagavan Krishna was Pradyumna. And Pradyumna was as great as Bhagavan Krishna. In no way was he lesser. The remainder of this class and the forthcoming classes are about the buildup of Bhagavan Krishna's family. Listen carefully so you forget about your family, okay? That's what disidentification is, no? We are in the 10th skanda, the 56th adhyaya, chapter 56, the 32nd shloka, the 32nd verse. In this skanda, there's 90 chapters. We have dedicated now a full year to this section, and we continue. Ityuktaha swam duhitaram kanyam jambavati muda arhanartham samanina krishnayopajaharaha. What is the word you recognize in this verse? Jambavati. Shri Krishna's first wife's name is Bhagavati Rukmini. Shri Krishna's next wife's name is Jambavati. You're going to need a new notebook just for all of his wives. So what this verse fully means, and then I'll explain more. After Shri Krishna spoke to Jambavan, then Jambavan responded saying, please don't just take this jewel, please also take this offering. Please marry my daughter, whose name is Jambavati. Okay? So now what happened? When Pradyumna was born, there was a asura. His name is Shambhara. And he was told that Shri Krishna's son or child is going to be your destruction. So what Shambhara did when Pradyumna was just born from Bhagavati Rukmini, he kidnapped him and threw him into a river. Really awful details. And Pradyumna, as an infant, was swallowed by a large fish. This large fish was caught and brought to that same asura, Shambhara. What goes around comes around, Bhagavata. It was brought back to Shambhara. And when this fish was cut open, they found Pradyumna. Now, the one who was overlooking the kitchen in this palace, in this kingdom, her name was Mayavati. And Mayavati was actually the wife, the Devi of Kamadeva. She's commonly known as Rati. So how beautiful is that? That she was overlooking this cooking area, and her husband, who was burnt up by Bhagwan Shiva, yes, had come back as Pradyumna. After that all happened, I'll read to you. Pradyumna had defeated Shambhara, and then from the sky, he descended with his wife like a blue cloud with a streak of lightning clinging to it into the magnificent inner apartments of the palace occupied by a very large number of ladies. The point being here is that Bhagwan Krishna and Bhagavati Rukmini were very sad. When their first child was kidnapped, it was speculated that he had died. And then Pradyumna and Bhagavati Rati, they came back to Bhagwan Krishna and to Devi Rukmini. And Devi Rukmini says to Pradyumna, you were kidnapped from the labor room. That detail is shared there, that they had labor rooms back in the day. The hospital was built into the palace. And there was such confusion. Who is this? How come he's with Mayavati? Who shows up then? Who is one of the lead characters that causes the most confusion and clarity in Bhagavata? Confusion and clarity. Yes, Rishi Narada. I told you he cruises through dimensions. So he happened to arrive there and mediated who Pradyumna is, that Mayavati is really Rati. That narration is completed. So now Shri Krishna, again, he still has one wife. We're building up to his second wife. There was a personality whose name was Satrajit. Satrajit. And he was a great devotee and worshipper of Surya. Surya, the Sura, as in the semi-god. And Surya was quite pleased with Satrajit, so he gave him a special jewel called the Syamantaka. Syamantaka. I'm using a lot of words that are long in pronunciation. Don't be lost in any of this, okay? I told you that this class and the next class is more about the kata, building up Bhagavan Krishna's family. Now, this Syamantaka money, this jewel, was awesome. Can you all show me your jewelry right now, please? Show me your jewelry. Come closer. That way I can analyze who to ask more dakshina, more dakshina from. Some of you have your hands like this. This Syamantaka money released gold 8 times a day. So imagine this jewel created gold 8 times a day. I had read that the total amount of gold that this jewel released was 10 kilograms. In pounds, that's 22 pounds. For simplicity, it releases a pound an hour. Okay? So every muhurta, there's 8 muhurtas in a day, this gold is released. Don't you wish you had the Syamantaka money? So, Shri Krishna tells Satyajit, who has this flashy jewel, you should give this to the treasury. What are you going to do with that much gold? But the palace, the kingdom, can use that much gold. What did Satyajit do? Look the other way. Exactly what we do, correct? With all of our privilege. When someone asks to share that privilege, we look the other way. So now, Satyajit had a brother whose name is Prasena. And this sibling was very show-off. Do you all have such a sibling? Who's very are you that sibling? so very show-offy. He took this jewel and started wearing it. And one day he had gone hunting, and though he went to go hunting, a lion happened to kill him. So now this lion has this Syamantaka. Now, as this lion is not doing anything with this jewel, a bear, whose name is Jambavan, yes, everything is being connected, comes and kills that lion and wants that jewel for his daughter. What is his daughter's name? Jambavati. Okay? Did you know that bears can run as fast as horses in short distances? So this, like the details of a bear versus a lion, that's so cool that how accurate this is. Okay, coming back to Bhagavata. So now, Jambavan takes this jewel and goes into a cave and lets his daughter play with this jewel. Now, what Satyajit did was he started a gossip thread sharing that Shri Krishna stole the Syamantaka money. Now, who took it? His own family member, but he started this gossip thread, WhatsApp. He started a WhatsApp group about how Shri Krishna is the thief of all of this. So now Shri Krishna, such a good leader, he wanted to clear his name. So he brought a group of people with him to try to find Prasena. They found him dead. They found the lion dead. So Shri Krishna continued looking for this Syamantaka, and they came to a cave, and he told all of the people, you stay here. Who knows what's happening in this cave? And so Shri Krishna went into that cave, and him and Jambavan started fighting. Here are some of the details of their fight. For 28 days and nights, without a break, they fought continuously, hitting each other with their adamantine fists. With his joints dislocated by the blows of Krishna's fists, enfeebled, exhausted, and perspiring, Jambavan said to his adversary as follows in great astonishment. What a cool battle scene, no? Just punch after punch, and then Jambavan's body is getting dislocated. And then he says what he said to Shri Krishna. And he says, this is your Syamantaka and my daughter, Jambavati. that narration is completed. Now, what is the Vedanta in all of this? A Syamantaka is an icon. It is a teaching about karma yajna. In Bhagavad Gita, this is called karma yoga. Our responsibility is to focus on the karma. And what are you supposed to do with that phala? Who does that phala belong to? You can say to the people, as Sri Krishna guided Satrajit to do, or you can say it belongs to Bhagavan. So that's what this whole scenario is teaching us in a very poetic way. Be happy with what you're doing. If you're happy with what you're doing, you will not get lost in what you're going to get. What you're going to get, you will openly share with the people, with Bhagavan. We continue. So Bhagavan Krishna has now had 2 marriages, correct? Are you interested in one more? We have to get to 16,008. It's going to take us another 5 years. Let us at least complete one more. We're in the 10th section. We're continuing with chapter 56. Now this is verse 44. 10, 56, 44. Tam satyabhamam bhagavan upayeme yatha vidhi bahubir yachitam shila rupaudarya gunanvitam. What was the word that you caught in here? What is Bhagavan Krishna's 3rd wife's name? Satyabhama. That's right. Satyabhama. Satya. Remember, they're in North India, not in Tamil Nadu. So there's no H in that Satya, okay? Satyabhama. So how did this marriage come to be? When Satrajit was corrected that Sri Krishna did not steal the Syamantaka, but rather it was his own brother, he became very reflective that what I did was wrong. This gossip thread was wrong. So what do I do to correct this? So what he did was he gave Sri Krishna that Syamantaka, saying, you asked for it, you deserve this. And Bhagavan Krishna said, like I said, you keep it, but give that phala, give that gold to the city. And Satrajit said, please also bless me by marrying my daughter, Satyabhama. And Satyabhama is one who is Shila, Guna. She was great in many, many, many ways. Okay? So Bhagavati Rukmini, then Devi Jambavati, and now Devi Satyabhama. After their wedding, and in great detail it says, Upayeme Yathavidi, they got married according to Vedic tradition. Bhagavan Krishna heard that Devi Kunti and the Pandavas had died, that they were burnt up in their palace. He had heard this, so he quickly, with Sri Balarama, went to Kurukshetra. That's where the Kauravas and the Pandavas were, to console everyone that Devi Kunti, the Pandavas have all been killed. While they were not in Dwaraka, do you all remember Akrura? Akrura somehow lost his satsanga. And he instigated another personality whose name is Shatadhanva And he instigated him to go and steal that Syamantaka. You know what this reminds me of? The ring in Lord of the Rings. You know how that ring makes everyone lose sense of their orientation? Akrura. He went to bring Bhagavan Krishna to Mathura. But that Syamantika, that was copied. Again, J.R. Tolkien copied Srimad Bhagavatam in terms of the ring. So he instigated Shatadanva. So what did Shatadanva do? It's quite rough. I'm going to read this to you. Where is this? Instigated by them in this way and prompted by greed for wealth, the evil-spirited and sinful Shatadanva, whose own days were numbered, murdered Satrajit in cold blood while he was lying asleep. As a butcher kills animals, he killed Satrajit amidst the outcries and wailings of helpless women and took away the jewel. When his daughter Satyabhama found out about her father's murder, she was deeply saddened. So she went to Kurukshetra to inform Bhagavan Krishna what had happened. So Bhagavan Krishna started to return back to Dwaraka. When Shatadanva found out that Bhagavan Krishna is coming back, he went to Akrura and said, "This is all because of you. You take this Syamantaka." And Akrura said, "You did it, not me." So what Shatadanva did, he threw it at Akrura and ran away. He just dropped that Syamanta money and started escaping from Dwaraka. And Bhagavan Krishna finally caught up to Shatadanva and destroyed him. At this point, they're near Mithila. And this is a very interesting part of Bhagavatam. Near Mithila. Who lives in Mithila? We just referenced this awesome personality in Meaningful Mornings. Yes, Raja Janaka. So now Bhagavan Krishna still has to restore the Syamantaka money to the kingdom. So he says, "I'm returning to Dwaraka," whereas Sri Balarama says, "My good friend Raja Janaka is in Mithila. I'm going to stay here." So Sri Krishna returns to Dwaraka and Sri Balarama stays in Mithila with Raja Janaka. And then who shows up? Does anyone know? Who comes to Mithila to be trained by Sri Balarama? Duryodhana. Duryodhana comes. Please remember that detail because this will come out near the end of the Mahabharata and Bhagavatam. Duryodhana comes to learn from Sri Balarama. Isn't that fascinating? Just the dynamics of Bhagavan's relationship with all. Now, Bhagavan Krishna returns to Dwaraka. Where did Akrura go? He escaped from Dwaraka. See, that's what happens when you do that which is wrong. You try to escape, no? And Bhagavan Krishna sends word to Akrura to come back. And Akrura comes back and he explains to Akrura that this Syamantika belongs to Satrajit and he was killed, so naturally it belongs to his child. Who is his child? Satyabhama. So this jewel belongs to her. And Akrura agreed to that. But Bhagavan Krishna said, "You still keep it. You still keep it." And this is where I shared with all of you yesterday in the last class. When Bhagavan is really pleased with you, he does not give wealth, he gives pure devotion. What did he give to Akrura? Wealth. Summarizing, and then we'll have our discussion. What is Bhagavan Krishna's first wife's name? Share in the chat. You should all know this now. Yes, For their first wedding, Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Second wife's name, Jambavati. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai. And third wife's name, Satyabhama. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Why I'm doing this is because he's going to have many more marriages. We may as well do japa relating to these marriages. But here's the Vedantic insight. For those who are focused on wealth and not devotion, what's going through your minds right now? How come he didn't just marry Devi Rukmini? Now he's married a bear's daughter. He's married a thief's daughter, and more are coming. The way to reflect upon this, imagine each of these Devis was a wave, W-A-V-E, and Shri Krishna would be the ocean. So tell me, how many waves are married to the ocean? How many? All of them. You can use the word infinite, or you can say all of them. When we start to think along these devotional sentiments, the feeling is we should be married to him too. That's the idea. And you know who took that to heart and lived like this? Mira. You call her Mira. I openly shared Devi Mira, no? When her mother said, all of these husbands are useless. Your real husband is Bhagavan Krishna. See how she personalized that? She identified with that. And nothing could touch her. Not poison, not fire. We have so much stress and anxiety in our lives. What if you start identifying with who you are destined to be married to? You keep thinking your legal marriage was your soulmates and you found them. Wrong. There's only one soul, Jiva Brahma Aikya. That's your soulmate. And that can only be facilitated by Vedanta. And see, it's beyond gender identity, beyond sexual identity. Lovely. We will continue with more Vivahas in our coming classes. Maybe this whole month will be Vivahas. Who knows? Oh.